Couple of bangers hit yesterday on the NAS and the Dow. This is the daily entry, guys. I'm bringing you actionable trade setups that you can take during the course of the day. We're talking NASDAQ, Dow, oil, gold, and obviously BTC as well. Let's go. Now that Dow setup from yesterday came in really quickly. I think within an hour of that show dropping, we got an absolute screamer out of the Dow, and it actually went double in terms of the size in the end, but I cut that one a little bit early. Then we got the NAS that played out during the course of the night, that hit that limit order that you saw I was sitting in yesterday during the show. So we got the limit order. I'm now out of that one, mini short, got a nice 2-to-1 there, and that is really all we're looking for on some of these guys. So as things stand at the moment, I am running a little nibble short on the Dow, and I'm going to take you through this chart as well and just a couple of thoughts behind it. And then we've got obviously the NAS and oil, gold, and BTC coming in hot. Okay, so first chart of the day here, guys, or first setup of the day. This is the Dow, and you can see I'm nibbling at a short. I'm not looking for a big move. You can see I'm looking for a 2-to-1 here on the Dow. In terms of the zone that makes sense for me, it's everywhere up to this wick fill. So we are sitting at 52,670, and you want your stop just a little bit above that wick, because if it fails, obviously then we're going to expect it to start pushing to the next big zone, and the next big short zone for me is 52,851. It's going to be a repeat of what we saw 2 days ago. Okay, we had that massive rejection there, and I've got a bearish order block in that zone. So obviously protect yourself, don't ape in, because obviously we can maybe explode through higher, but at the moment that looks like a good rejection short zone to me, and we've also got bearish order blocks there. Now what do we do in terms of longs? Well, I just want to highlight this zone for you at the moment. Why is this important? Look at that VWAP, bang bang as support, and now we could potentially move back and hit that VWAP, and it is tying in with a 618 as well. So 52,274 looks like the next long on the Dow for me if we get a meltdown today. And then higher conviction, this will be a revisit or a round 2 of what we saw the other day or yesterday in that explosive move. 52,070 into slightly lower 52,020. That is a banger there for me on the Dow. Okay, so look out for that. In terms of the NAS, what do we got here? So yesterday's trade has now played out, so it's not a fresh one that we are looking for. And at the moment, the zones of interest to me, 50-day MA, VWAP, Wicks, 29,560. This makes a ton of sense to me for the first degen entry for the day on the NAS. Then slightly lower down, I've got some beautiful areas here as well. 29,380 making sense to me. And then we've got the higher conviction play, 29,130 to the downside. Now, in terms of shorts, if the market pumps today, where's the first big zone? You'll remember from last week, this is a high conviction zone for me. I've got a super bearish order block sitting in this region as well. It's also a 786 fib, and it would include a wick fill. So in terms of a trade zone that I get super excited about, that is one of them that you see there. So 30,070 on the NAS, looking for a short there. Remember, if you are trading on various exchanges, some of these numbers, they don't tie in exactly. So you got to set your final numbers and orders on the exchange that you are trading on. Okay, this is the US100capital.com chart, and you can see there might be a slight discrepancy there in terms of the figures. Okay, guys, rules of engagement for the show. I do talk about it obviously every time. I just want you guys to know we're not getting married to trades here. 1-to-1, 2-to-1 trades. We quick in, we quick out, and we cut the losers quickly. You know, we've got a lot of options here. These the NAS and the Dow particularly super volatile here. So let's trade these zones and just trade them consistently in the areas, and don't get married. And remember, importantly, during the course of the day, I go into the Chart Hackers Discord, and I've got a separate TradFi section for you guys, and I update these charts. So if we get an explosion during the course of the day, let's say we blow through some of these short zones, for example, I've got a couple of areas higher up on the NAS and the Dow that could come into play, which we will talk about later on if we need to. Okay, there's a bit of a banger there to the upside. So just make sure you are engaged in my section, the TradFi section in the Chart Hackers Discord. Obviously, there's a ton going on there other than just the TradFi stuff. Okay, let's get into oil. And this is the big one I covered yesterday. I think the major short zone is 87. What does it mean for us if oil pumps into that zone? Well, I think crypto gets smashed. I think the other markets get smashed as well if oil pushes into that 87. So it is something to watch. But in terms of where do we get a major relief rally if we're getting wrecked in the market and everything is rolling over, that is the guy. Okay, so 87 into 88 on this WTI chart that I have here makes sense for me. That is the big short zone that I like for oil. Obviously, in between, there's other rejection zones. This is a simple gap that you can see over here, and we know these guys love to fill these gaps, so you could find a little pump 82 to 84. That could give you a short, but right now, I'm not looking to trade oil specifically unless it hits that 87, 88. I'm mainly just using this as a guide for, is the market going to go up or down, you know, in terms of the NASDAQ crypto. And then gold also playing a couple of games with us at the moment, chopping around. There's only two areas that make sense to me at the moment for gold. Number one is the short. We're looking at 4120 into 4,140. That's the short zone for me. Bang, look for that on gold. Bearish order block 618, nice wick fill as well. And then longs, where do we look for longs? Anywhere in that region. I want to see this wick get filled. Okay, so the chart you see in front of you see that wick over there. I'm obviously watching that one super closely, and this zone is 3960 into about, say, 3940, making sense for a long on gold. This is the 2-hour gold chart. Okay, now guys, we're going to jump into BTC. Just remember, if you're enjoying the content, please hit that like, hit the bell, hit that subscribe so that you know when I'm dropping these shows. And if you find this information useful to yourself and you think you know other traders that this might interest, please send it on to them. This is a new channel. We are trying to grow the channel here as well. Okay, let's jump into Bitcoin and see what's potting for the old big dog over here. So I covered yesterday the first degen short, which was in this region. I said look for a wick into that 50-day moving average, and now the CPI news was just so good that we saw everything explode through levels. And the question we're asking ourselves now is this continuation going to play out? Is there more coming for BTC? So before I just jump into the lower time frame, I just want to show you higher time frame. There are a couple of bullish signs here at the moment. We've broken out of this wedge that you can see over here. We've broken through that 65k resistance, and now we are floating around trying to find support on the 50-day MA. And for me, I'm happy anywhere in that region if we can find some support. Anything down to about 63k looks pretty reasonable to me for continuation. Okay, so anywhere down here we could see playing out, and we could still get a push higher on BTC. So going back into the lower time frame stuff, in terms of how I'm playing it, this is still a bearish zone for me until proven otherwise. You can see it hit the tip of my next short zone, which was 65,250. That was always a high conviction rejection, and you can see we got that rejection there on BTC. Bearish order blocks all the way up here, even into 66,400. Super bearish for me on BTC in that type of area. Obviously, if we get the flag and things like that, and we see this start forming for us, we might get these alts exploding really nicely. But in terms of some short-term moves, looks like you could be shorting that zone, and I've in fact added a little bit to my Bitcoin short here, and it's running as a nice hedge for me at the moment. Now, in terms of where do we get a bounce, well, degen support for Bitcoin 64k. That's a must-hold level for the degens, the super high leverage longers. That is what you're looking for. And then slightly more conviction for me, guys, 63 into 63.5. That's my long zone for Bitcoin for today. I'm going to be looking to add there, and that would be pretty much the extreme of this dip that you see on the daily. We want to see this thing start churning higher. Now you can watch me come and trade all these shit coins on the Chart Hackers YouTube channel later on today. In fact, we're going live in about, from the time you watch this video, we'll be live on the Chart Hackers YouTube probably within an hour and a half after you first see this video get dropped there on YouTube. You can see my current situation. I'm building a Bitcoin short, beautiful hedge play. You can see I've already taken out a lot of profits on that short as things stand. ETH is my big long at the moment. I've got 160,000 long there on ETH. I've got a nice size Sol as well, and then I've got a couple of hedge shorts sprinkled along the way. Ondo I'm flirting with, link, but we'll cover that all on the Chart Hackers Discord later on for you guys. Okay, there's your daily entry. Good luck out there. Stick to the rules, keep it clean. We'll see you guys tomorrow.